Yuki Tsunoda is having a really hard time at Red Bull, even though Horner and Marco say nice things about how he's doing. The Japanese driver came in dead last in Barcelona's practice time trials, and it looks like he might lose his job because Yuki is costing Red Bull so many points in the team championship. Who would be the best person to replace him and sit next to Max? And more importantly, is moving up to Red Bull actually a good thing for the young drivers in Racing Bulls? Let's be honest here. Tsunoda's performance in Barcelona made everyone scratch their heads. He got P20 just based on how fast he went. A lap that wasn't messed up by other cars or bad weather is just way below what you'd expect from the second Red Bull driver. It only took 2 races like this from Lawson for him to get sent back down to Racing Bulls. And thinking about the big crash in Imola, Tsunoda is getting a bit more patience than usual, some people might say. But the problems the Japanese driver had were obvious the whole weekend. This is something that Christian Horner talked about, saying that between Tsunoda and Verstappen he has no clue what the team can do to make Yuki feel better with the car. Horner also said Yuki had trouble all weekend and we added a little more downforce to try and help him. But yeah, it's hard to figure out, so I'll have to take a good look at it. He's going to have to pass quite a few cars for that. Yuki himself was pretty surprised that he couldn't go faster, as many radio reports said that he was sliding around a lot, which means the back of the car wasn't gripping the track well. When your teammate is fighting for the fastest time up there while you're way back in last place, reality really hits you hard. And Yuki might have to have some really awkward conversations with Marco and Horner, because this isn't why he was brought to the team. Out of the 10 points he's earned in 2025 so far in 8 race weekends, 3 of them came in the first 2 races as a Racing Bulls driver. This was supposed to be a step up, not a step down. And looking at what's happening at Racing Bulls and also Lindblad's career in F2, it's pretty safe to guess that if Red Bull's experiment doesn't work out, Yuki is done with Formula 1. When talking about the weird lack of speed during the Barcelona GP so far and how far behind he was compared to his teammate, Yuki said, "It's pretty tough. All week I tried to fix the problems as much as I could. I was saying from the first practice that I had some strange problem where it just wasn't gripping at all. We tried our best to fix the problem, but I don't think we were able to cure it. Whatever we changed with the car setup, it was always kind of a mess of feelings, and it's just not making any real step forward. It's very strange." People definitely expected more from him because he spent exactly 5 seasons as a driver for the sister team. Ever since Gasly left, he's been able to beat drivers like Ricciardo and De Vries and obviously match up with Lawson. But when the New Zealand driver was picked over him for the 2025 season, and after just 2 races where he qualified P20 twice and P8 for the sprint race, I guess the bar was already set too low so far. Yuki doesn't have a perfect record either, costing Red Bull a lot of repair money and a spot or 2 in the team championship. If they want to matter in that competition, the Austrian team needs a strong second driver, one as good as Sainz. But we all know that this partnership won't happen for obvious reasons. Carlos himself talked about it, and when discussing the situation he said, "I talked to Red Bull, but they didn't want me. For different reasons, we couldn't make a deal." People who know about Formula 1 probably know why Red Bull didn't want me. I have nothing against them or their decision-making. What does Red Bull's decision-making tell us? For starters, they don't seem to have an answer for the second seat. The last time they had 2 competitive drivers fighting with each other was back in 2018 before Ricciardo left. Ever since then, we saw Gasly, Albon, Perez, Lawson, and now Tsunoda. Gasly and Albon are doing very well in other places. Perez is out of the sport, while Lawson and Tsunoda are still in the stressful environment of Red Bull. The pressure is huge, and Yuki knows that better than anyone, especially after Horner's latest comments about the future of the Japanese driver. The British guy was clear that if Yuki wants to stay at Red Bull, he needs to perform, which means changes are probably going to happen if we keep getting bad performance from the Japanese driver. Horner also said Yuki has the hardest job in Formula 1 being Max's teammate. Yuki is doing okay so far, regularly getting points, but if he wants to be considered for next year, he'll have to keep getting better. The reporters weren't happy with this short answer from Horner, and he had to explain a bit more about what's going to change in the near future if Red Bull keeps going with the boring one-man team plan. This is when Horner showed his cards a little bit more as he said, "Look, it's early days for Yuki. He is still getting used to it. He's been in Q3, scored points from the pit lane. He's had a few accidents as well, so he has a long way to go. We'll decide. We've got plenty of time on our side. I think the only thing that we can do is give him time and support and try to get a car set up that he feels confident in. Driving these cars is all about confidence, and that's what he needs to find. I think he'll get there. He is fast. He's just got to put it all together. We keep seeing flashes of good performance. We just need to see him put it all together. I think he can do that." The order is already known. They're going to pick Hajar from Racing Bulls as the replacement for Tsunoda. Would this be a smart move though? From this view, I don't think anyone can say. It seems like the second seat is pretty much cursed, and drivers who get promoted are actually getting a demotion. But it's bad news for Tsunoda because he won't get sent back down the same way that Gasly and Lawson did. Red Bull needs to think about their future as well, and their future is in Arvid Lindblad. So if 2025 doesn't work out between Yuki and Red Bull, I guess we can say goodbye to his F1 career. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Is it really the driver? It can't be that bad that we haven't seen a competitive challenger next to Verstappen for more than 7 years. And the drivers who failed to perform at Red Bull have gone on to be pretty competitive in other places. A contrast. Nico Rosberg talked about this matter, saying that there is no way someone can convince him that the second Red Bull car is easy to handle for any driver out there. The 2016 world champion also said, "Look at Max. He is in a fight for a top 2 position, and Yuki Tsunoda is dead last in the Red Bull car. Can you believe it? And who can explain to me why nobody can handle this second Red Bull car?" It's not just Rosberg who had doubts about Tsunoda and his ways of performing at Red Bull. David Croft has gone on to have the nerve to comment that the Austrian team has the wrong second driver next to Max. Talking about this situation even more, the Sky F1 commentator said, "I think another driver could handle the moody RB21, but Red Bull is not going to sign Norris or Russell or Sainz or drivers of that level. And with all respect to Yuki, who I know is now the most experienced Japanese driver in F1 history, he is not a Lando Norris. He is a good driver, but he is not a race-winning driver yet. One day I hope he is. And to say that he's got to get within 2 or 3 tenths of Max is a tall order, a tough order. But Red Bull is a championship-winning team, and therefore it's not an unrealistic ask for that second driver in the Red Bull car." Now, would Hajar be smart to accept the role, or for Red Bull driver if the call ever comes from Marko or Horner? From this point of view, you'd think that it is a promotion. But seeing how the other young drivers performed in the car he's supposed to inherit, he might be smart to just wait things out as everything stands. Everything revolves around Max, or he has the ability to put the car in places where it doesn't deserve to be. So it would be pretty hard to see any other driver out there putting the RB21 in the top 5 apart from the Dutch guy with all this in mind. What do you think about the current situation that Red Bull have found themselves in with Tsunoda, and, more importantly, do you think that there will be a third driver in the team in such a short span of time? Let us know in the comments below. And once you do that, make sure to check out the video that's appearing on your screen right now.